Alright, today we're off to look at a 1966 Chevy pickup, and I'm excited to see it. It'll be an orange or reddish orange truck, and it's actually pretty decent looking from what I've seen in the pictures.
You go to like going to tour, they got a package. It's pretty cool. It extends up like the antenna. It's got a ball on it. Yeah. You put it on your trailer and you sit it up.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Trailers, you know, I can pull up and I know I'm not going to get the next car.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
See that door? It gets me every time it's closed.
Oh, I know. It's nice. Yeah. So.
And finding those 6-plug rallies are hard. I passed on 2 sets only because I thought I was going to get a pair of chrome ones up, and they both sold. I was like, yeah, they go so fast. Yeah. Because I like to find them with the tires already on them. Everybody, you know, they don't invest in it, but they have new tires. Right. I like the white letters, you know.
Oh, I do too. Yeah.
And there is a set of like center line looking ones, brand new in Oklahoma for $400. They're the 6-plug that fit right on it. But
cool. All right.
You have yourself a good one, sir.
You too. Take care. Thank you.
You probably won't.
All right, we got it home. Let's go take a quick look around it. Still looks like a pretty good truck after I get it home. Sometimes that's not always the case. Sometimes you go, why did I buy that? I guess this was originally a farm truck. Probably not a big surprise, but it is a pretty solid truck. I'm pretty happy with it. Somebody put a steel plate in the bed, but the wood bed and all the rails and everything are still underneath it. I think one time right here the exhaust slipped up behind the fender and burned the paint a little bit. That's what it kind of looks like to me. The exhaust comes out the back now. I always like these old bumpers that have the names on them where they came from. This would be a great rat rod type truck. The patina on this thing is really nice. So it looks like this truck's been off the road for a while. So I'm sure it needs a few things, so we'll get working on those and take care of them. Alright guys, one of the first things we're going to do today, the gas gauge does not work on this truck and I have no idea how much fuel's in it. So we're going to go ahead and put a little fuel in it so we just don't run out. Alright, we'll call that good for now. Now we'll start to take a look at a bunch of other things on this truck. Something I discovered on here is that the dipstick tube is broken off, so we'll take a look at that and figure out what to do about that. Hopefully I can get the part that's broken off into the block out, so we'll see about getting one of those ordered. Past that, the oil's pretty dark, so we're going to go ahead and change the oil. Well, that doesn't sound the best. I'm going to go ahead and shoot a little WD-40 in there and kind of lube that up a little bit. Try to get the can that doesn't squirt worth a darn. Alright, that's way better. I think I'll probably hit the driver door right away too. Alright, today we're going to go ahead and change the oil in this. It desperately needs it, so that's why we're doing it first. Yeah, this oil is past oil change time. Yeah, it's pretty dark. Alright, this truck's got the cartridge style oil filter, so you've got this housing that stays permanently, and then that is the actual filter right there. And I've got a new one sitting over here. And so what I need to do now is there's a gasket that goes around this edge, and it comes new with the filter, so I got to get up in there. Not sure if you're going to be able to see it, it's pretty dark. There we go, I got it out. Luckily it came out in one piece. Alright, this thing's got an oil bath air cleaner on it. It's supposed to be full of oil up to that level. It was pretty low when I got it, so I'm going to go ahead and clean it out. It's coming a lot cleaner already, but it's still got a bunch of crud on it. I may have to throw it in the parts washer for a little bit to really get this thing cleaned out. So I think I'm going to do that, let it soak for a little bit, and then we'll fill it with oil and put it back on the truck. Alright, so we got it all cleaned out. It looks way better. It's not near as crusty, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back on the truck and then fill it with oil on the truck. Alright guys, sorry for the wind. I'm going to try to stay out of it, but I'm going to check the lights over. Looks like we've got both headlights working. Let's go take a peek at the tail lights. This one's actually an original headlight yet. You can probably see the T3 in it. Alright, let's go look at the tail lights. That one's working. And that one's working. Alright, let's see what else we got that works. Let me try the high beams. Okay, the bright indicator on the dash works. That one works. And that one works. Alright, I'm going to shut the truck off so it's not so noisy. Okay, we got the left blinker blinking. Okay, that one works. Okay, that one does not. So we'll have to take a peek at that. We flip the blinker lever. That one's not working either. This one is. Alright, I'm going to try the backup lights and see if any of those work. Okay, that backup light works. This one doesn't, so let's take a look at some of this stuff and see what's going on with it. Alright, let's go ahead and take this off so we can see what's going on in here. The bulb looks pretty good. The socket looks pretty good. So this truck's sat a lot. Sometimes when they sit, all it takes is you to pull the bulb in and out a couple of times and life is good. So, alright, I pulled the backup light off as well. These are actually glass. They're not plastic. That's interesting. I didn't know that. That one's fighting me all the way. Alright, I got it out. It looks like the fixture's kind of corroded. A lot of junk on it. Have to see if I can clean that up a little bit. Alright, I have a sneaking suspicion this is actually a wiring issue and not a bulb issue at this point, because I kind of got it cleaned up. And it's not doing anything, so we'll have to take a look at some wiring on this. I have a feeling that's probably what's going on up there as well. With the brake light, so as everything else works. Alright, so we'll have to check some wiring. I'm going to check and see if I have any power in here, just to confirm that. Alright, see if that works. I think the sockets are just bad. There it goes. Let's see if I can tweak this one a little bit. There we go. Alright, another one fixed. Alright, we got several of these fixed. Now let's move to the front and we'll work on those for a little bit. I'm going to have to take a look at some of those sockets and see if I can fix them. I may not be able to. I may have to get new sockets. But let's try the turn signals on the front and see what we can do. Alright, so I pulled the headlight switch. Both parking lights work on the front and the back, but neither turn signal on the front works. So I'm going to have to take a look at the wiring there and see what's going on with that. I kind of wanted to just run through it real quick and see what I could get working, what didn't, you know, that kind of thing. I know in the back I need some sockets. Some of the sockets are just bad. There's stuff missing out of them, and you know, they're corroded. So we'll continue to work on this later on, but at least I know what I need now. I messed with the turn signal a little more. Now we got the passenger side working. Let's see if the driver's side goes. Nope, still nothing there. We'll just have to keep playing with it. Alright, today we're going to take a look at the timing and tack and dwell and all that kind of good stuff, and get this engine tuned up a little bit. I think the timing's probably just a touch too advanced right now. When it's warm it starts a little slow, so I think it's a little bit too advanced. So I got to clean the timing marks off, so we're going to get at it. These are pretty crusty. I think I'm going to have to let it soak a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to let it soak a little bit, then we'll get back after it. Alright, I got that all cleaned up. I'm going to show you something a little bit interesting. This tag has advanced, 0, and retarded on it, and then marks with no numbers. So I'm going to assume that the slightly bigger numbers are 10s, and then of course 0 in the middle. So I'm going to assume those go in 2-degree increments. And then advanced is going to be before top dead center, and R is going to be after top dead center. That's the way I'm going to take it, so we'll see what happens here. Got the timing light hooked up. I'm going to show you how this thing starts, and you'll see it cranks slow. to get something to plug the vacuum advance, so I'll be right back. Okay, I got the vacuum advance plugged. Let's see where we're at. Okay, it is super far advanced. Alright, I got it set on about 6 right now. I'm going to grab a vacuum gauge and see what that likes. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and try to start it up now and see how it does. Much better. I like that way better. Got my... We're like right about 800 RPMs. That's not too bad. I'll leave that for now. Dwell-wise, we're only at like 15. I need to bump that up to closer to 30. Alright, we're like right on 30 right now, so that should be pretty good. I think the range on that is 28 to 32. You can see the idle went down. We're like just shy of 600 RPMs right now. And it's settling in about 575, so I might tweak that up a little. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set the carburetor up right now. Alright, I think that's pretty good. We've got the tach set at about 700 RPM. It doesn't seem like it hesitates when you hit the gas. The timing seems better. So I'm going to take it out for a drive and see how it feels. Alright, here we go. I'm going to have to shift. Hang on. There we go. shift. Driving one-handed. Alright, I've noticed it's backfired through the carb a couple of times. That was pretty low RPM, but you may need to just tweak it just a tiny bit. Save you guys a shift, just went from first to third. I think it needs a little something yet, a little more adjustment. I just got to figure out on what. It may need the carb to be rebuilt. Not too bad though. I know it starts a whole lot better. Just needs a small tweak yet, I think. Then we got to take a look at the front end on here too. This is a little loose as well. Alright, overall though, I think this was pretty good. Okay, this is probably one for the blooper reel, but I think I realized what happened, why it was not accelerating like it should from an idle. I think I left the distributor loose when I was finishing the tune-up on it, and the distributor moved a little bit, and it was actually about 4 degrees after top dead center. So I retimed it, revved it up a couple times. It seems pretty good, so I'm going to take it around the block again. We'll see if it fires right back up. Just like new. That was real nice. It pulled away from a dead stop really well this time. Yeah, it's running a whole lot better now. That was what was going on. So I think we got it. So it runs good now. I don't think I'm going to have to rebuild the carb on this truck. It seems to run pretty good. It accelerates like it should. It gives a good shot of gas into the carburetor when you hit it. So I think we're good. So I think now we're going to move on to the front end, and we'll see what we can do to tighten up this steering a little bit. Show you guys something I saw over here real quick. Nice little short bent step side. Alright, the next thing I'm going to work on, I think this bracket right here for the choke is bent. I don't think it's supposed to be like that. I think it's supposed to be a straight shot there from here to here, and it's not. So I'm going to pull that bracket off and straighten it up and put it back on. Right now the choke's a little hard to operate, and I have a feeling that's probably the reason for that. Alright, I'm just going to take that inside and put it on something flat and give it a couple of whacks and straighten it out, and I think that'll help our choke situation out quite a bit. Alright, I straightened this bracket out, so hopefully this will make it function a lot smoother. Pretty dang close. I'm just going to move this one just a little bit. Alright, let's try that. Alright, I am gonna call that good. It's seems to work okie dokie. Alright, if you notice this headlight is sitting out a little bit and you can push it back, I gotta see what's going on with that. Probably there's a little plastic piece in there that's broken, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop this apart and see what I see. Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what's going on, is that the little plastic piece is gone. I'm going to pull the headlight out and see what size it is, and I may have those, but we'll see. Okay, here's that plastic thing that's broken, so I gotta see if I can find another one. Okay, I found another new plastic bit and I snapped it in there. I realized the camera wasn't on when I test fit it. So I'm gonna get a couple turns on that, and I shoved it through. Alright, and we'll grab the spring. Ow. Nice. Alright, let's All right, we'll have to test these out at night when we can see what's going on, but all right, we got it. Now I will go ahead and do the other side. All right, now we got both headlights repaired, so we'll be able to align those later on, and you'll be able to drive this thing at night. They look way better. They're pointing like straight down at the ground before. All right, we're gonna take a look at the front end on this and see what needs to be repaired.
Do me the wobble first, okay?
The steering wheel?
Yeah, back and forth. You're keep doing that. Yeah, you got so much place in the gearbox that the pivot arm is coming up and down a little. But keep going.
Okay.
Keep doing that. Just a little further. You know, go a little further stroke.
Oh, all right.
Water need to be on. Right, excuse me. Right now, Ken, that's good.
Okay.
The gearbox, I want you to look at it before we lift it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out.
The gearbox, actually the shaft is doing this. I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
It's kind of an optical illusion.
Okay.
But
All right, so we're gonna have to do lower ball joints on this, and the steering gearbox was loose, but it looks adjustable. If we get in there, see, I've cleaned some of the crud away and it looks adjustable, so I think I'll be able to tighten this back up and take care of the issue here. So it'll just be 2 ball joints and then an alignment. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get that adjusted. All right, so what I did is I loosened that nut up, and then that center thing's got a slot in it for a screwdriver, and I went ahead and screwed that in, and it did tighten up the gearbox a little bit. I'm at the end of the adjustment right now. It definitely seems better. I don't know that it's perfect yet, so we'll have to try it out and see how it goes after we get the ball joints in. All right, guys, so I'm gonna continue working on figuring out why the one brake light won't come on. It's the driver's side. And this group of wires right here, the brown wire is actually the brake wire right there. So I'm gonna go in the cab and determine where that goes. I believe I was looking at a diagram that goes up to the headlight switch. And so I'm gonna follow it up there and see if I see any issues. I might have to unplug the headlight switch and, you know, figure it out from there. So it's going to be tough to film because it's going to be up under the dash and I'm barely going to be able to see it. But I don't know. We'll see if we can't get it figured out. So right there is the brake light switch, and the yellow wire, I believe, is the one that goes to the headlight switch, and then from there the brown wire goes back to the brake light. So the button on the left there is the headlight switch, and so I'm going to get in behind there and figure out what's going on. Alright, so I went ahead and pulled the brake light switch out, and if I'm not mistaken, this wire right here goes to the brake switch, and then this is the brown wire that turns the brakes on. I'm going to get a tester and verify that right now. Okay, I think I figured out the wiring deal in this truck. I think my brake light problem has to do with my turn signal. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the key on and put the turn signal on. And if you listen, you can hear the blinker relay clicking. And I'm getting a flash in the rear, but I'm not getting a flash in the front. I'm also not getting a flash on the dash. And if you watch, when I push the turn signal lever down more, now it starts flashing. Same way with my right turn signal. On the dash, it's not flashing, and then when I lift the lever, it starts flashing. Now the brake lights run through the green and yellow wire on this truck, green being the right turn signal, yellow being the left. So I think what's going on is because this switch, the turn signal switch is bad in the steering wheel, it's not turning on the left brake light. Now when I turn my left directional on, I know the current is getting back to the light because it does flash in the back. It's just not letting that brake signal go to the back of the truck. So I think that's what's going on. So I think we need a new turn signal switch. This one also does not cancel. I think it was when you turn right, it doesn't cancel. So, you know, that may be part of it as well. So I'm going to have to look into that. So the other thing I was going to look into was why the front left turn signal wasn't working, and I just figured that out as well. So I think that's the issue with our wiring right now. Alright, we're having issues with valve cover gaskets leaking, so we're going to go ahead and replace those today. It's like 50 years of crud in there. Anyway, we'll get cleaning this up. Alright, we've got both of these put back on. I just give these bolts a snug. I don't even really crank them down because I don't want them to spit the gasket out. And, you know, if they do weep a little bit, you can always just tweak them a little bit more. You know, like maybe after you drive it a little bit. But anyway, we're all done with that, so hopefully it won't pour oil out down the side of the engine anymore. Alright, today we're going to put the lower ball joints in here and get this taken care of so we can get an alignment done. We'll take a quick look in here. Somebody did all 4 brakes on this truck before I got it, so that was nice. We didn't have to do it. Okay. Down at all? The ball was getting pressed out of it.
I think you're going.
I'll just take the stud out. Yeah, just knock the hole.
Oh, and knock the ball through?
You knocked the bottom of the ball joint out.
No, go ahead. Actually, it's easier in that Dodge pen. Take that Dodge. Just knock the Dodge right there.
Okay.
Bend up the bone. Very nice.
All right, that's good. All right, 2 down. Alright, we're all done. We got both lowers on. Appreciate Jake's help. He's fantastic. So we'll move on to the next thing. All right, I'm going to show you how to pull a steering wheel off and move it. In this case, there's a little thing to get in there. This just pops off. It's got a spring clip in the back, and then there's 3 Phillips screws in here. And then there's a plastic thing, and that's what keeps it from making contact. And when you push the horn, it makes contact in the horn honks. There's another little plastic deal that's associated with that. Then there's a little contact ring. We're going to clean that up before we put it back in. And then you've got a nut that'll allow the steering wheel to unbolt. So I'm going to grab a socket and take that off. Alright, the nut and the washer. Alright, now we're going to have to get a puller. This one doesn't want to just pop right off. Sometimes they do, most of the time they don't. So I'm going to grab a puller and pop that off. Alright, I put the puller on. There's 2 holes down in the actual steering wheel, and then this pushes on the center of the hub. So now we just got to grab a socket and then tighten it up. And it should pop right off. There we go, it broke loose. Alright, it's off. Now what I need to do is reposition the steering wheel. Right now I think somebody put it on totally crooked, and you know, I've got the gearbox set up in the center, and that's the way you want to set it always, is that the gearbox is in the center of the stroke. And then put the steering wheel on straight. Then you can make some final adjustments and tweaks and things like that. You know, when the alignment process is going on. But I'm just gonna kind of get it set up close so the guy at the alignment place doesn't have such a hard time. Alright, I'm just looking to see if any of these splines have flat spots on them. It looks like it might. I gotta get a light. Okay, I kind of looked around here, and it does look like it's got splines all the way around. There's not like splines missing where the steering wheel can only go on a certain way. Alright, so I was just looking to see if there's anything else going on in there. I know I need a turn signal switch yet, but I don't have that yet. I'm just basically messing around with this. I got a little time. Figured I'd just check some of this stuff out. So anyway, let's put the wheel back on. Here's actually, I just saw this sitting in the wheel. This is broken off. It's a little tab that cancels the turn signal. So that's what's going on with that. This stuff just gets old and dries out after a while. Alright, so I'm just going to put the steering wheel on straight, and then we'll take it for a drive and we'll see just exactly how straight it is. Now what I usually do is I'll throw the nut back on, but I won't tighten it. I mean, I'll run it up so the wheel can't come off and I can't lose control of the truck. But I will just make sure that it makes it real easy for me to reposition the wheel, and I can kind of fine tune it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going straight up the road. You can see the steering wheel's just canted to the right a little bit yet. So I'm going to stop and just move it just a little bit. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this or not, but I'm going to spin the nut off, pull the wheel off, rotate it straight. I'm going to put the nut back on. Alright, so the wheel's on straight again. We're going to see how it is going up the road now. Looks like I'm probably just a little bit to the left now. I'll probably just move it over like one tooth. Yeah, I think we'll move it one tooth. Alright, let's see how we're doing now. Alright, that's pretty close. I think we're going to call that good. And we'll tighten her back up at this point. Alright, we're going to go ahead and tighten this up now and put everything back together. I think we got it. Snap the cap on and call her good. Alright, I had promised you guys a little better look at this truck. So here we go. It's a little bit lighter out. So this is the inside of the front left fender. It's really nice. The back of these fenders are all rotted out all the time. Here's the driver's floor. Cab corner. Back of the box. Up into the rear fender. Still see the wood is rotted, but still there. All the metal strips are still in the bed. So all you have to do is take that steel plate out and then redo the wood. All right, I'm not doing a lot of cleanup on this one. It looks better being crusty the way it is. So I'm just gonna give it one last walk around so y'all can see what it looked like. Something that's kind of cool on this truck is there's still the chalk marks on the firewall from back when it was built. It's got the old single master cylinder, not ideal. It's the old York AC unit. Alright guys, thanks for watching another episode Up and Running. I appreciate it. Be sure to come back next time and we'll work on something. Don't know what though yet. Thanks.